shop, tools in hand. Balsa wood, we make a stand. Carving dreams from days gone by. Stunt hanger planes that touch the sky. Control lines tight, the engine hums. Crafting art where passion drums. Stunt hanger, flying high. Old world craft beneath the sky. Balsa wings we build with care. Stunt hanger, join us there.
Well, welcome. I'm going to start a Saturday series because I don't have John. I don't have Saturday with John, so I'll do it Saturday by myself. Today, what I'm going to do is these fillets. Everybody knows that, well, not everybody, everybody that's been watching knows these fillets bubbled up on me and I sanded them out. Well, in order to blend these, we need to figure out the separation lines. And that's what I'm going to do today, and we'll see how it goes. And part of fixing a problem, part of fixing a paint job, is knowing where the separation lines go. Otherwise, you have hard lines in your finished product when you repaint the thing. And do I like refinishing an airplane? No, not really. But I'm not afraid of it. It's just one of them things that has to be done. Okay, so let's swap views. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to separate it right there. You see, I really need to make sure I get this right. I need a razor blade. I probably need to go to Harbor Freight today and buy some more razor blades. Let's see. Got X-Lactos and scalpels. I'll use a scalpel. So the feathering is going to take place right up in here. I don't know if I can do it with this. Yeah. Okay. And I suppose I could tape the whole thing off. And that probably would be the best way to do it. The most boring for you guys. I was trying to get a hold of Danny to see if we could do a Saturday with Dan. But he's off doing Dan stuff. So Danny, if you're watching this, if you call me, we'll do a show together. Okay, so get this off here. How am I going to do this? I think we'll just do one half, and then I'll turn it around and do the other half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape up this half, shoot the primer on it. No, I ought to go ahead and do them both because I might have to leave the paper on for a day or so. So what I need to do, yep, what I need to do is tape off this canopy. Doing this prep work here is probably the most important thing. They're doing successful repair so that you can't see that it's been done. Now we're taping off the green, so you don't want to get on the orange. You want to stay inside the green because we're painting orange. Here comes that thing that I told you about puckering. So we're just going to cut that off and do it from the other side. We got 5 watchers, so you guys are interested somehow. Somehow you're interested. And I'm going to say, go around that way. And I wish I had a razor with it. Ah, we got both sides of both sides of the fuselage to do. How did I do that? That's going to leave a hard line there too. Damn. So I have to rethink that. I have to, I'm going to have to double tape this thing anyway. Okay. We'll do it right on this side and fix the other side. Okay. Close enough. Close enough. Okay. So we need to do 2 lines here instead of 1. I'm painting here, but I'm taping up here, and you won't see until you won't understand until it's finished. But you know what? We might have a problem with that blue. So if I get a little primer on the blue, I'll just repaint the blue. Not what I wanted to do, but yeah, because that'll look better. We'll repaint that blue spear. Yeah, I'll repaint the blue spear that way. That'll look the best. So I need to cut that off there. Nope, I need to raise that up to the top, just to the red. Okay. Okie dokie. One of the biggest things about doing a job like this and trying to blend is don't load the paint on there and get a real thick, heavy coat. We just want to dust it. All I'm trying to do is get some buildup on this so I can sand it and blend it in. Damn. There we go. That's better. You know, I bought that Lazy Susan. I haven't used it. You know, thrift stores are a wonderful thing. As long, you know, if you want to go shopping with your wife or whatever, they're a wonderful thing. You just got to look for different things that'll work. So while shopping in a thrift store, I found this. This is a Lazy Susan. I haven't used it. We'll see if it works. That's wonderful. I think I paid 50 cents for it. Now I can just do whatever I have to do. Okay. Let's see here. Yep, 50 cents for a model airplane tool. Gotta think outside the box, guys. Come on now. You can do it. Hey, see, I don't know if I showed you guys this before or not, but you take a piece of tape like this and you fold it this way where it's in a V, like so, and you put it on here. You let, well, shit, I gotta, first, before I do that, I gotta tape this up. You fold it on there and let that flap hang up. That will give you, it won't leave a hard paint line. For you guys who don't use enough thinner, this step could be disastrous. I figure repairing this airplane and refinishing the other one would be a whole lot easier than building another one. Of course, I don't know. What I need is some motivation. You guys remember, I always start my next year's airplane the day after the Nats. Well, I didn't do that this year. I didn't do it. Hit the old twist and shout lazy Susan bearing. That's pretty good. When I go to Walgreens or Walmart or whatever, I'm always looking in the cosmetic aisle for fingernail files, different bottles I can use as a fuel tank, different shaped bottles that I can use as sanding implements. So if you're paying attention, you can see airplanes everywhere, or airplane parts anyway. At least I can. Okay, now we can go with that piece of tape. And I could blend into that line there. Yeah, let's do that. Let's blend in ahead of that right there. We'll kind of narrow down some of the surface area and put paint on. There we go. Okay. So this is our brake line that we're going to do. This is where we're going to feather it in. And I got some feathering agent, but nothing works as good as thinner. So I'm going to take that piece of tape right there. And add it right there. The thing I'm worried about is the color blend. I'm not so worried about the hard line as I am the color blend. Now another trick is you don't want to paint right in that. You don't want to flood that. You just want to dust it in there. So when you come back with sandpaper, you can flatten it out. You think, man, that's a lot of work for just that little spot. Yeah, you want it to look good. We're gonna paper up to here with another one of those hard line dams. Let's see, up to, we'll do it right to there, I guess. Go 1, 2, 3. No, we'll go 2. Actually, I should do the unders first. Now here's something I don't like to do, but this is a pretty big radius turn, so we probably get away with it. Maybe. Don't look like it. Come on. You see these flags here? This is a prime candidate for paint to overspray underneath it. So we'll double tape. Of course, first tape should have been first. Yeah, I should have had this 3/4 of an inch back. Let's redo it so it doesn't screw up. This is kind of like shingling a roof. So we're just going to take this and step it back 1/4 inch and go around this corner. Crap. Okay, we got, let me get this out of the way. We got the shingling going and the flags going in this direction. So now we're going to overlay the tape right to the line. And then the flags from this first row will be over the top of this, so the overspray will get on the tape instead of the paint. At least that's a theory behind it. But I got to tell you, if you're spraying red, you can't have a flag. There we go. There we go. If I'd have done it the other way, the overspray I got under both edges, so, and we still stand a chance of getting overspray out in here, but it should wipe off with 91% alcohol. In all actuality, I should have started taping here and went back that way. But it should be okay. I'm not spraying a whole lot. I'm only spraying with an airbrush. Got to use the hairbrush. Okay. Let's tape off the trailing edge before we put this on. You know, I ought to draw that out and cut it before I push it down. That way I got no flags. I need to buy a new pair of scissors. These are all epoxied up. I realize these Westcott scissors are Chinesium, but they're not too bad. And got a little piece that we can put there. Chinesium. You know, when I was a kid, it was Jap crap. Now it's China junk. Because the Japanese make some good shit. They couldn't beat us with bombs, so they bombed us with radios, TVs, electronics. There we go. Yeah. Oh, boy, it's going to be a while to tape for 2 seconds of painting. So the thing for today is to get this taped off and get this primed. It'll be primed out to here or whatever. And then maybe we'll shoot some white on it. Tomorrow I'll shoot the orange. How I know the white needs to be done is from looking at this repair I did a couple of months ago. I didn't shoot any white on it, and it's kind of got a darker hue to it because I laid orange over orange instead of orange over white. Because if you remember, because of the way I finished these airplanes are pretty much white before I start putting on color. And you can change the tone of a color in one coat of paint. Just like if I were to paint let's see, orange and red and yellow make green. So if I were to paint yellow over the top of this, it would give a green hue. And we don't want to do that. I already got enough problems. Let's see, how do I want to go about that? Well, I guess I'll just work on the other side. We want to come back to the canopy and the, oh, we want to do the 1, 2. 1, 2. Right on top of the rib so that I can get some pressure on it when I sand it. If nothing else you guys pick up from this video, it's this right here. Trust me, you'll use it. And how to get this to blend is, when I get all this taped up and I shoot the primer on it, well, we're not going to load the primer up in here. I'm just going to shoot the primer here, sand, shoot the primer until it, get it prepared so that it looks good. I don't want to build this up too much because we're going to end up having that fillet lift again. Then for the next coat, we got to take all the tape off and move it back, like move this back a 1/4 inch, maybe out to this rib, so that we can sand and feather that in. And when it gets the final color on it, we're moving that back so it's layering, just like when you see how we feather sand, a ding in, looks like the rings of a tree. That's how you get it to disappear. And then, of course, the clear over the top of it, and then multiple sandings between clear and the rubbing and polishing and all that other good stuff. But this right here is 99% of the blend, so to speak. Might as well go ahead and do this side, get it finished, turn it around and do the other side. Danny said he didn't like this straight line in here, but I don't know what else to do with it unless I put a different color on it, some black sphere. Got to have separation somewhere. Got to have separation somewhere, Danny boy. I don't think you guys see how much work this is going to be. So, what would be easier here? Try this tape and see if I can cut it. The more you guys comment, the more it helps the video, by the way. We are 102 subscribers away from 5,000. Please help me reach 5,000 by the end of the year. Been an 11-year battle. There we go. There it is. I might go ahead and ink around that canopy. If you guys remember when I first finished this, I just kind of threw the paint job on there. Just kind of threw it on there. And I hope you guys aren't sitting in your easy chair watching me. You need to be in your shop watching me. Well, we're going to run for an hour. Basically, you guys get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm trying not to make these videos so damn long and boring. Because I shoot live and don't edit, that's why you get all the dead time of me looking for something or sanding or some nonsense. But that editing takes up way too much of my time. Well, now that they're shipping again, I need to ship a package overseas. He said no rush, but it's been a while. All his shit is done. A couple of extra little things too. I just wonder what customs is going to do. Okay, well, that'll give you the idea of what's going on here. Okay, great, Steve. Okay, what's happening here is this will be papered. All this will be papered off. The nose will be papered off. The back half will be papered off. I'm not going to make you watch another hour of me papering it off. I'll go ahead and do it and then come back. And when we get to the next step, we'll carry on. But then I'm going to shoot primer in here lightly, just enough to block out all the splotchiness, and sand and blend that in on both sides. Then I'll dust on some white to lighten up the area, because if you paint over primer, it's dark as hell, and it'll turn the orange dark, be dark orange instead of bright orange. So we'll dust on some white here to brighten up the orange, and then dust on the orange. And after that's done, untape everything, feather the edges, and shoot the whole airplane with clear. You won't be able to tell where I did this. Of course, the way I got it set up here with this spear, I'm going to have to repaint this this spear here. And we might put an extra spear back here, and I don't know. Danny don't like the separation line. I don't know what to do about that. But the biggest thing when doing a job like this is to not load it up with paint. You want to just dust it on. We're primering this and getting it smooth, and then dusting the paint on so it's the ever so slight light color that you can do. And it's not because of weight, it's because of thickness. Otherwise, you'll end up with a hard line, and that ain't no good. I got a hard line here that I need to get off for where I taped off the white. I'll card that off before I shoot clear on it. Shoot the clear, card it off, shoot the clear, steel wool it, or 2000 grit sandpaper or whatever, and then shoot another coat of clear on it and try to blend it in. He's already picking up weight. I'm last night I was looking at wheel pants. We're going to shorten them up by an inch, about 3/4 of an inch. let's see here. No, it's an inch. See, I'm going to shorten them up this long. I was going to use wheel pants, but I think I'm just going to use some wheel doors like this. And I could use these, except for they're just not quite right. I mean, they would fit on there in a pinch if I was in a hurry and I needed to do something. I could use these. These came off my profile that I crashed in Huntersville, and they would work, but they're heavy. We'll try to make them as light as possible. All right, thanks for joining me on a Saturday. Not as successful as Saturday at John's used to be, but at least you got something in there. I'll put up a short paint blending or paint work or whatever, and hopefully we get some views out of it. All righty, I'll probably be back on later. No promises. We'll see how I feel. I just don't want to bore you guys to death. All righty, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you later. Fairwinds, tight lines. See you.